work. I am adjusting. Hello. Hi, Glenn. I don't know if anyone's on yet. Trying to adjust over here. Oops. Make this a little bit higher. Hi, Tim. Happy Wednesday. Just doing some adjustments here. I think we can bring that down. So hopefully my internet is okay throughout. It was a great election night last night for Trump. Yeah, so I think it was, where was it? And it was Idaho or Ohio and what other state? What other state was it? Ohio. Good afternoon. Every Trump-backed candidate, was it? I thought it was a 22 endorsements, 22 wins, including JD Vance, which I was really excited about. But I thought it was also another state. All I'm seeing right now is Ohio. But yes, every single Trump-backed candidate won their primary. So that's pretty cool. Oh, I was saying, hopefully my internet is okay. We're expecting crazy storms this afternoon. Hopefully it won't be within the next hour while I'm talking to you all. Indiana. Okay. So Ohio and Indiana, every single Trump-backed candidate won in the primary. So that's very cool. That means usually he backs America first people, so that's good. Good. Yes, but sorry. we're supposed to be getting hail this afternoon. So really bad storms and hail. Hopefully that doesn't happen while I'm sitting here with you over the next hour, but I'm just warning you in case it does and my internet gets weird. It's starting in Virginia Beach now. Oh, fabulous. That means I'm sure it'll start here soon. Fabulous. Yeah, hail. I haven't seen hail in a long time. The last time I had hail, I had a rental car and they tried to charge me all of this money because it got hail damage. I was like, it wasn't my fault. It was in Colorado. We had this. Are you in Texas? No, I'm in Virginia, which I haven't seen hail in Virginia in a long time. But the last time I had hail, it was in Colorado. And I can't remember if there was an actual tornado or not anywhere, but it was the same. It was an afternoon random a storm. And it was like baseball sized hail and it destroyed the car that I had. I had a rental car at the time. Spring flowers and all that. Actually, it is really cool. It's nice and green and lush again where I am. I miss that. Hello from Northeast Ohio. Amber Heard took the stand. One, oh, give me the popcorn. I can't wait to see that. I have been so entrenched in this trial. I mean, it has the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. It has so many elements of there's so many elements and so many lessons in this trial. Let's talk about that for a minute. And then I was going to talk about what happened with Dave Chappelle last night. There were some riots, more riots. Yay. Just in time, right? It's May, summer riots. Hopefully it won't be 2020 all over again. There were some riots last night, and Adam Schiff is actually being sued by the repair shop owner that had the Biden laptop for defamation. So we're going to look into that. But let's talk about this Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. There's so many elements in this trial. There's a woman who is desperate for fame, a woman who took advantage of the Me Too movement, a woman who accused a man of bad things. I'm keeping it YouTube friendly. And the public immediately believed her. And then more information came out, and she was actually the aggressor and everything. And she also has a history of it. She's been arrested for it before, but everyone believed her. She got to have her career. She got to make Aquaman 2. And Johnny Depp was basically blacklisted out of Hollywood. He lost The Last Pirates. And what's really sad about him losing Pirates is, I don't know if you guys know, but he used to dress up as Jack Sparrow and go to children's hospitals, and he would spend hours with them. And they're really cute videos if you want to look him up online, but he won't be doing that anymore. The whole thing is wild. And it also, there were elements that the ACLU was involved, and they timed this release of an op ed that was written by Amber Heard, where she implied that Johnny Depp had done terrible things to her. That's where all of this came from. And they were behind this, and they strategically timed it right before the release of her movie when she had maximum media exposure. Wild. Been here since 2018. They've been freaking out about the snow. Oh, I'm sorry, you're talking about something totally different. Um, so she's been lying about everything. I've been waiting for her to take the stand. This will be really interesting, but she took the stand today. I've seen him do on the videos. Those were cool. Yeah, one of those days that he did that was actually his birthday. But it just goes to show you, women can lie too. It's not. I never liked to believe all women because women lie too. Here's another random story that came out today. Everyone knows Kim Kardashian, right? Um, so Kim and her fame really hit maximum levels after this sex tape was released with her. And I think he was a rapper, Ray J. And the whole time we thought that this was leaked and that Kim had nothing to do with it. Well, Ray J actually came out today and he said, you know what? It was a deal that all three of us made, Kim, Chris, and him. Chris is Kim Kardashian's mother. We all made this deal. We released the tape together. I've been quiet about this for 14 years because of certain things that I signed saying I couldn't talk about it. And he got fed up with a storyline on the new Hulu show the Kardashians have at the moment, where this whole thing was brought up again and painted him in a light that he was the one that released it and that he still had. Anyway, it was a whole another dramatic storyline. And finally he came out and said, look, she was a part of this the whole time. I have had my name drugged through the media. Of course, this is just his account, but it's just very, very interesting how women automatically are always looked at as the victim, and the man is always looked at as the aggressor in these situations. So it's quite interesting. Bo- Both Depp and Turd are out of control. It's a tie in my book. Oh, for sure, they're both out of control. But it is a defamation case where, and that's what Amber is being sued for. Did she knowingly lie with a reckless disregard for the truth when she wrote this op ed? So that's what this is all about. Anywho, let's move on. But I have been waiting for her to take the stand. I can't wait for the body language experts to weigh in on Amber Heard taking the stands. I didn't spill. Speaking of taking the stands, someone attempted to take the stand. So a lot of comedians were worried when the Oscars happened and Will Smith rushed the stage and slapped Chris Rock across the face. After this happened, there were a lot of threats towards comedians. And people were afraid that this was going to other acts of violence against comedians, and this happened last night. So last night at the Hollywood Bowl, overgrowth. I have no idea what you all are talking about. Last night at the Hollywood Bowl, it was for the Netflix is a Joke tour. Dave Chappelle was doing stand up comedy, and a person in the audience rushed the stage, attempted to pummel him to the ground. It didn't go well for this individual. He was then attacked by he was then apprehended and attacked by Dave's team. I'll let you know what happened. An attacker who rushed the stage and tackled Dave Chappelle on Tuesday night at the comedian's Hollywood Bowl. I don't know if you all know what the Hollywood Bowl is, but it's a pretty infamous place. It's a big I don't understand how you pay to go see stand-up comedy and you get offended. I know, and the Hollywood Bowl is not cheap, and I have a feeling that that show, it was the Netflix is a Joke tour. I think that the person paid just to go do that. But typically security is pretty tight at the Hollywood Bowl. I'm surprised he even got on stage. Um, an attacker who rushed the stage and tackled Dave Chappelle on Tuesday night at the comedian's Hollywood Bowl show was carrying a knife concealed in a replica gun, according to a new report. The 23-year-old man was arrested and is being held on $30,000 bail in LA County Sheriff's custody on a felony charge of assault with a deadly weapon. I'm actually surprised it's only $30,000. He stormed the stage while this is what's pretty crazy about it. He stormed the stage right after Chappelle joked about the fact that he had to increase his security in light of his trans jokes at the Netflix is a Joke festival. The attacker was armed with a fake gun that contained a hidden knife. It is unclear if he was searched on his way to the venue or how he was able to gain access to the stage. Yeah, a knife and a gun. I'm just gonna hold my weapon and I'm gonna hide my weapon in my other weapon. Apparently, it was a replica gun. Do you think he finds his charges funny? Amber turned. Oh, we're talking about Amber. Amber turned. Um. Oh, security was light at the venue. That's interesting. While security was apparently light at the venue, its website said the show would be a phone free experience and that the audience would have to secure their phones inside pouches. During the mayhem, as Chappelle's security staff rushed the attacker, actor and singer Jamie Foxx also raced to help. During an encore, Chappelle thanked Fox, saying, "Shout out to Jamie Foxx, by the way, whenever you're in trouble, Jamie Foxx will show up in a sheriff's hat." I don't know if you know this, but Jamie Foxx actually saved someone's life once. Let me see if I can pull that up. Yeah, Jamie Foxx saved a man from a burning car at one point. Chris Rock was there as well, and he came out right after it happened and said, "Was that Will Smith?" But so they know who the person is, and I bring this up too because this is basically the state that LA is in right now. They know who the individual is. It is an individual who has pronouns they them. 23 years old, and I believe the person is homeless, which I don't know how they got tickets to Dave Chappelle. But it's kind of sad that that's the state we're in right now in comedy. Where was Jamie for Chris Rock? I know. Where was Jamie for Chris Rock? Where also was security for Chris Rock? Uh, the guy, so the 23-year-old, the security team, and I don't know if any of the other comedians actually went after him. You can find the picture online. I don't want to show it to you. I think it's pretty gross. But they twisted this man into a pretzel. His arm was not hanging right, if you know what I'm saying. So he definitely got what was coming to him. His face was pretty messed up, and Chappelle was fine. But it's just kind of scary because it opens the door. When people see stuff like that, it kind of opens the door for more things. And Chappelle was one of the ones that got a lot of threats because of his trans jokes. And a lot of the trans community actually thought his jokes were fine, but it's a few crazy people who don't know how to laugh at themselves. So that was LA last night. What was also LA last night is you had some of the pro-choice demons, is what I call them, out, and I'll show you some of the video of it. Thankfully, this was downtown. I don't think this was where I used to live. He got tickets instead of fentanyl last week. He probably did. Uh didn't end well for him. So I'll show you. So this was last night in downtown Los. Not everyone at these marches are that crazy. There's some march that looks pretty normal, but these are just really miserable people. Look at this. It almost kind of does look fake. There's a lot of this. But what I said, and this is what I honestly believe with a lot of these people, there's a lot of video of this. It does look a little fake. It is in fact not. And what I said, the crazies were out again. Absolutely. What I said is this isn't about abortion. These are depressed young people who have no purpose in life and are taking their anger out in this manner. Corrupt politicians take advantage of these sad souls and use them as emotional pawns. And I do believe that. If you look, that is a remake of Chips. He should have started to swing that stick out and they started advancing on him. And what is as soon as the cops get there, they start becoming aggressive. And I don't think people actually like people my age and younger, they have no idea what a peaceful protest is. My mom used to do a lot of protests. She was kind of a hippie back in the day, and they did a lot of sit ins. Like they were peaceful. This is yelling and screaming obscenities at cops and going after them like that. That is not peaceful. And you didn't see it, but later on in the video, they started advancing at the cops even more. I actually experienced this. This is really interesting. In the summer of 2020, I was living in West Hollywood and I decided to leave my house to, I think I needed cat food. And it was a Sunday, it was like 7 p.m., early Sunday evening. It was still light out. And that was the day of that huge march in Hollywood where I don't know if you remember the footage, but it was the George Floyd protest. The footage was panning over the crowd, sort of looking down, and you just saw mass amounts of people right in Hollywood. Well, they started in Hollywood and they ended up in West Hollywood where I was. I actually had no idea this was going on at the time. And I went to get cat food, and all of a sudden, police cars are coming out, securing the area, and then I'm bombarded with 20,000 people. So I was filming them for just a second, and then I decided to go walk with them and just talk to them. And I talked to one guy. He was really nice. I was just asking him a bunch of questions. Why are you here? What do you believe in? Like all of that stuff. And he was sane and rational, and although I disagreed with him, he was, he was sane. And but every single time, and I noticed the people around me, they were totally calm. And then we would walk by an intersection, and the way that police sort of secure the area for the protesters is anytime there's an intersection, they'll just stand with their cars in the intersection to make sure other cars don't come through. And they did that for the protection of the protesters. But every single time we hit one of those intersections and the cops were just standing there not doing anything, it was like Tourette syndrome. All of a sudden, they got really loud, they got really aggressive, and they started cussing out the police officers. And it was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde right there. Anytime they saw a police officer, and then they would say, "We just don't want the cops here. They trigger us." I'm like, "You're not a child, first of all. And second of all, they're here to protect you, to make sure you don't get run over by cars," is basically what they were doing. Hollywood has been tanking itself and they went woke. The Democrats fooled good people and destroyed so many lives over lies. Stay woke will cause people to go broke. Yes, they absolutely do. And it's all, none of it is genuine. I have this story about Chuck Schumer that I wanted to read to you for a second. Where is it? So, 2 years, norms of the Supreme Court were violated by the leak of the draft opinion on a major abortion case. The top Senate Democrat threatened conservative justices, "You won't know what hit you," if they ruled on abortion in ways he did not approve of. Inside the walls of this court, the Supreme Court is hearing arguments, as you know, for the first major abortion rights cases since Justice Kavanaugh and Justice, oh gosh, I don't know how to say that name. Gorsuch, maybe, came to the bench. Chuck Schumer said at a pro-abortion rights rally in March 2020, referring to Justices Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. I apologize if I'm butchering that. "I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions." So that was Chuck Schumer. And here's the thing, do you really think that Chuck Schumer cares that much about women's rights? Like, do you really think he cares that much about women's rights? But they will make it a rights issue and they will get sad, depressed, soulless people to go out in streets and be their political pawns for them. And I keep seeing on the internet, and why does he do that? I don't know, but I do know that Planned Parenthood donates a lot of money. In the 2020 election, they donated $45 million basically to, oh, not just, hold on, let me read this for you. Planned Parenthood will spend $45 million. Hi, Braxton. Planned Parenthood will spend $45 million on the 2020 elections, the nonprofit's biggest electoral expenditure in its history. This is according to CBS News. The money will go toward the presidential election as well as congressional and state house races, according to Planned Parenthood Votes Executive Director Jenny Lawson, who said the stakes have never been higher. So, and I've seen online all day a lot of people saying, well, this is going to ruin the momentum that Republicans have. And I've seen a lot of people say, I was on board with the Republicans and now I can't vote for them after this because women need to have the right to choose. So many people are saying that this is so bad for Republicans and this is so awful. Well, here's the thing. I stated this yesterday. This has always been a major Republican principle. If anything, I think that Republicans have gotten a lot more liberal on this issue. And they also don't understand what Roe versus Wade is. This was something that was never constitutional in the first place. It's not listed as a right in the Constitution, and all this does is push the legality of abortion back to the states. That's all it does. Which, if you're pro democracy, if you're pro choice, it it essentially gives the power back to the people and the states to make their own decisions. I'm going to be careful with my coffee this time. What's really interesting, I'm going to read you their stance. I just found, I didn't know that this group existed. Hi, Zoom. I did not know that this group existed, but I'm going to read you their stance first, and then I'm going to show you a video of them because a lot of the pro-choice demons, not all of them are demons, but some of them are demons. Ooh, no, but that sounds really good, and it's gonna. I know I like a lot of coffee. Rum in the coffee. Hmm, that does sound good. It's gonna be a rainy day. Although I have to be somewhere later, so I probably shouldn't have rum in my coffee. But that sounds good. Hello, sorry I missed the start. It's okay. We're going to get into some fascinating stuff, I think. So, there's this group of feminists that are actually pro life. And I just thought what they said was very interesting. So, I'm going to read to you what they said first, and I'm going to show you a video of them. They're saying the same thing in the video, but it's a little, um, it's hard to make out exactly what they're saying. No, yeah, not if I have to drive. Yeah, I have to drive. Maybe later. Okay, I just Bailey's Irish Cream. Okay, before I get started, can I tell you a really funny story about Bailey's Irish Cream? So, I have a good friend who actually used to work for Rush Limbaugh. Now he works for, I think, Buck Sexton. I haven't talked to him for a while, but he was a oh, and he worked for Hannity. No, he did not work for Hannity. Wait, yes, he did. I don't know, but I actually got to see Hannity's studio where he does his podcast in New York City. And I sat in on one of this is way before I was outspoken about politics, but I got to see Buck Sexton. Anyway, he was telling me that he worked with this lady, and she would drink coffee every morning, and she always had this bottle of Bailey's Irish cream on her desk. And like he didn't say anything, but apparently she was putting it in her coffee every morning. And it took her until one day she realized, I don't know if someone told her that there was alcohol in it. So she was putting it in her coffee every day at work and did not know there was alcohol. And she was a woman maybe in her 40s or 50s. And finally I don't know if they told her, if she found out, but she brought up, she was like, I'm so embarrassed because you know that they do have Bailey's Irish cream flavored creamer. So she assumed it was the creamer. It was not. All right, so here are these are, yeah, I like, talk about a closet drunk. I bet her coffee's not as good as it used to be. The rum diary is what Amber Heard is talking about at the moment. Hmm. I had no idea my crown on the rocks is alcohol. Okay, so this is I had no idea this group existed. The media was reminded, this is from the Daily Wire, if you want to read about it. The media was reminded Tuesday evening that not all leftists are pro abortion rights groups of pro-life progressive activists, as pro-life progressive activists rallied outside the United States Supreme Court, offering their own views on the topic. On Monday, after Politico cited, okay, we already know that. So the protests continued Tuesday evening as members of the progressive anti abortion uprising made their voices loud and clear in opposition to their pro abortion rights counterparts. Your coffee identifies as alcohol. Kristen Monahan, executive coordinator of PAAU, told the crowd that abortion is by far the most patriarchal, Is there rum in my coffee? I'm just kidding. No, there isn't. I lost my place. Oh, who? Oh, I can't read it. So, abortion is by far the most patriarchal, oppressive concept ever created towards women or children or people with uteruses. And we're all oppressed under this fascist regime. We all deserve better. So many women want to die because of their abortions. They grieve their dead children. And they were told their children were just a clump of cells. And then they read the embryology textbook and they realize how much they were lied to. And they grieve their dead children and have PTSD meltdowns because no one told them their children were their children. We all deserve better than abortion. This is why I'm here today, not only for the children, but also for their mothers. Abortion is fascism. Abortion is patriarch. I cannot speak that word right now. Abortion harms all. Other activists, sometimes when I'm on here and it's my, yep, okay. Other activists decried abortion extremism, such as DC's allowance of abortion at any moment of pregnancy until the 9 months of birth. The Daily Wire also reported that PAAU appeared to be the only pro life. And keep in mind, people with uterus, I mean, they're leftists, you guys. They're leftists. Um, but it's just it's always it's so interesting because this is the same thing that I discovered with the gender identity movement. There are radical feminists that are against gender identity ideology. They also call it misogyny. Men going into women's spaces, men being able to identify as women and now taking up women's spaces. Um the Daily Wire also reported that PAAU appeared to be the only pro life group outside the Supreme Court on Monday evening. A reporter for the Daily Wire witnessed certain pro abortion factions in the crowd displaying extreme hostility toward the pro life activists. Keep in mind, these are left leaning activists. Yeah, we just talked about that, Max. We talked about Dave Chappelle getting attacked. The crowd seemed to be almost entirely made up of pro abortion protesters. The only pro life group I encountered was the progressive anti abortion uprising. I bumped into them as this is a reporter with the Daily Wire, and she says, I bumped into them as I briefly left the crowd to grab a sandwich, and they urged me to follow them, promising me that they were going to make a statement. I find that so interesting because when you look at a lot of the anti abortion people, or when you look at Antifa, they want media to get as far away from them as possible. They hide their faces, they threaten reporters, they attack reporters, but keep in mind, this group wanted the reporter to follow them because they had a message, and I think that speaks volumes. If you think that you have a good message, you want the coverage, you want reporters to be there, and you want them to hear what you have to say. It's very telling when you are afraid of reporters because you know what you are doing is wrong. Just had to make that point. Later on, the reporter found a group proclaiming abortion is murder into the megaphones while being surrounded by pro abortion rights protesters screaming curse words at them. I pushed my way through the crowd, she says, until I could see and film what was going on. One girl dressed in denim, sporting both a mask and sunglasses, flung water at the PAAU members. It splashed next to me. I don't know what she was saying. It splashed next to me, who looked annoyed. I don't know what that meant. Um, The reporter also witnessed pro abortion activists screaming F you at the PAAU members. Their eyes were wild with rage. For a moment, I wondered if they would assault the PAAU members. It seems surreal that these were very typical looking Washington, D.C. men behaving in such a manner in broad daylight. The crazy came out. The world is so messed up these days. I'm really thinking about selling everything here in North Carolina and starting a homestead. Yeah, it might get worse, but I was also seeing a lot of conservatives say, Okay, maybe just one. I don't know why I said a lot. Uh, conservatives say, one conservative say, um, urging any Republicans or conservatives, they were saying, do not go to these protests. Let these people go. Let them show who they are and stay out of it. Um, and I bring up that story also because Joe Biden today was speaking and he called the MAGA group the most extreme group that we have right now, who's had tons of rallies and never any violence. The only violence is usually towards someone who is perceived to be a Trump supporter. And you have these insane, not all the pro choicers out there, demonstrating are violent. Not all of them are, but you do have a lot of extremists there being violent and making threats. We just saw them with the police officers. And this is happening right now, yet Joe Biden, our president, is on television calling the MAGA crowd the most extremist crowd. But here, I wanted to show you a video of these women. So this is the PAAU. PAAU. Let me find them because you're going to be surprised at the appearance of them. And I don't mean to talk about anyone's appearance, but you'll see these are far abortion. If I can find it. So you're going to hear them say some of what I already read you. Um, but it's not that clear. So I wanted to read it to you.
They were told that their children were just clumps of cells, and then they read an embryology textbook and they realize how much they were lied to, and then they grieve their dead children and have PTSD meltdowns because no one told them their children were their children. We all deserve better than abortion. This is why I'm here today, not just for the children, but also for their mothers. Abortion is fascism. Abortion is patriarchal oppression. Abortion harms all. Absolutely.
Within a 5-mile radius of where we're standing right now, there's three abortion facilities that offers elective abortions for all 9 months of pregnancy. One, on Georgia Avenue, a nurse practitioner is trying to do abortions, elective 9-month abortions. There's a multi-million-dollar lawsuit going on right now. This is the face of abortion extremism. The face of abortion extremism is the 5 late-term elective abortions we found in the medical waste. We held those late-term aborted fetuses, those babies. And that's the face of abortion extremism. That's what they want, and that's what we're going to dismantle. Abortion will be dismantled through direct action, advocacy, and helping people who are pregnant. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. We're checking out for now, but we'll be back tomorrow.
I think it's interesting, and I think it's not all far leftists are the same. And what I think is really interesting about this group is they offer help to women. They offer financial help to women that decide to keep their babies. And they say, look, if you are thinking about it and you don't want to do it, and you are afraid that you are not going to have support, then we will support you. We will be here for you. So I don't know. I found that whole thing very interesting. Hello from Southern. Hair like that is a visual warning. Yes, but they had a good message, I think. Or I don't know. It's always the patriarchy, but I've just never seen a leftist that was anti-abortion. And I will say, I somebody I didn't show it to you, but somebody in the comments said that the official name for that hair color is unemployment purple. It's a very strange world. But you notice that they are so much more. You look at them and then you look at the radical leftists that are pro-choice, and they just seem, don't they just seem in their eyeballs just healthier? Like they don't have the crazy eyes. They don't have the rage eyes. Or kindergarten teacher, yes. Fanatics' eyes. But actually, let me know what you guys think. I would like to know what you think. This whole leak or this possible decision. So, if the Supreme Court makes the decision to overturn Roe versus Wade, do you think that will hurt Republicans as far as elections are concerned? Let me know what you think. No? Jeffrey Dahmer eyes. Nah. I think most people, including Democrats, are against, yeah. It will not hurt Republicans, but it will show that Republicans got their balls back. I want to read you a take because I've been seeing some takes like this. Okay, so this is Twitter. So Ben Shapiro tweeted out, has there been a single major Democrat who has condemned the leak of SCOTUS decision? One. This is Karlin Borisenko. And she retweeted this and then said this. So she is adamant that this was a huge loss for Republicans and that if it gets overturned, this is going to be really bad for Republicans. She's convinced that they're going to lose every election moving forward. She says, you guys are focusing more on the leak than the decision because you know that the decision is a complete and total win for the left. You should be celebrating the leaked draft. Why aren't there big pro-life celebration rallies already happening? Because you know you lost. The reason the left is focusing on the decision is because they know the decision is a win for the left. The reason the right is focused on the leak is because they know the decision is a win for the left. Hi, Timothy. Tim says, I believe this would help Republicans because who in their right mind would take a life that should be given a chance? God gave that soul a chance. People are going to vote because of the economy. It's the economy, stupid. Republican people should invest more in movies and TV shows because that is how Democratic brainwash out our kids. But yeah, I agree. And I think that if anything, even pro choicers, I think the majority of the people, even people who are pro choice, do not think that you should be. There's a weed whacker out there. Do not think that you should. Excuse me. Do you hear that? I do not think that abortion should happen after the first trimester. The majority of the people do believe in that, even people that are pro choice. I was Timothy. Do you, Timothy? Because I know you watch her too, right? Or you used to. Sorry, I think he passed. I thought it was outside my house. That's how loud it felt. And every time I started talking, it so Timothy, do you agree with her or not? I'm curious to know your opinion. Some people are starting to focus on the ish. What are you saying, Braxton? I think it will help because the true meaning of Roe versus Wade will be explained. Yeah. Do you hear that? What is going on? Sorry about that. There's so many sounds. I don't know where they're all coming from. Was going to wait and see the coming days and weekend. Yeah. Oh, you mess. What were you saying, Braxton? Yeah, it was. The Constitution doesn't say anything about abortion rights. People can vote with their feet and move the states that would allow abortion. Roe versus Wade is overturned, and it should be. Yes, that's my whole point, and I think it gives the opportunity to what somebody said earlier. Susan sent someone to your house. I know a Susan. I think what Carlin was espousing was more emotional than logic. It kind of seems that way. Um, the I do, and I think that's the issue with, and this is the point I try to make more than anything. You can't allow, and I haven't seen her whole argument, so I'm not talking about her in this sense, but and I'm talking about with everything. They did the same thing with George Floyd. You can't allow your emotions to overtake critical thinking, and what really stinks is that the powers at be know that you activate people by emotion. That's how you activate them. And they use that, and they use, oh, Susan and her new BFF, Nina Jankowicz, the Ministry of Truth, the one who still, some sense, are starting to focus on what's relevant and beneficial. Yes. Um, the powers that be know that if they can activate your emotions, they can activate you, and they take advantage of that. Like Chuck Schumer pretending like he cares about women's rights. I just don't think Chuck Schumer is that passionate about women's rights. The Democrats are now outright lying about what is going to happen. Exactly. They're also saying that soon, I think even Joe Biden said something like this recently. They're also saying now Republicans are going to um, outlaw gay marriage. That's what they're saying now. Amber Schumer. I'm looking at updates with the trial right now. Amber Heard is, oh, okay. So, Amber Heard takes the stand already basically crying. This is, do you guys follow Rakita Law? Rekieta Law. He has an excellent YouTube channel. I'm going to put it in the comments. He is a lawyer and will live stream these cases. He's live streaming the Heard Johnny Depp case right now. And he gives great commentary. I started following him during the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Okay, so he says Amber is building a narrative of sexual aggression from Johnny Depp grooming, basically. I don't think this is going to help her, though. To the judge in Depp versus Heard, please learn that what, if anything, does not somehow make a leading question. Oh, that's lawyer talk. That's going to be good. Yes, Republicans, the people who want you to have freedom and limit government's power, wants to outlaw it is really interesting. Yeah, and I think that's what people don't understand about the over versus Wade. If you ever, she's writer. Oh, I can't wait to see the bad acting. Um, if you're ever in a debate with somebody about Roe versus Wade, I would ask them first. The very first thing is say, okay, let me ask you a question. If Roe versus Wade gets overturned, what happens? See what they say. Amber crying is totally unexpected. So how the hell do we actually communicate with these whack jobs and get the memo over to them? Their media obviously isn't telling them anything meaningful. I guess we just have to destroy the count. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. But I have conversations all the time. And it's funny because it's easier to talk to liberals in Virginia than it was to talk to liberals in Hollywood. Liberals in Hollywood, if they even think that maybe you voted for Trump, if they even think that maybe you are a Republican, they will just start to see red and get way over emotional. So that when you're talking to that level of crazy, it's a little bit difficult, but I try to have conversations with people when I actually can. And I'm oftentimes, especially to younger people, and I'm oftentimes surprised at how aware they are. And that's what I try to do. If I haven't encountered this conversation yet with this particular issue, but if Roe versus Wade comes up, your first question to them should be, and don't make the argument about, and that's what I try to do in this stream, even though I think we're all on the same. Sarah, get someone Irish cream fast and in a hurry. I have to drive, maybe later. Ask Kevin Sorbo, Chris Pratt, and Gina Carano. Yeah. Um, Kevin Sorbo and I actually worked on the same project together, but we worked on different days. So I never got to meet him. A production team, a small production team that I worked with in Los Angeles also did stuff with him, but we just did different projects. And the one project we did together, we were on different days. Um, I've had a few issue, and it's always women that are the crazies. Men are a lot more open to conversation, but far leftist, loony women are the worst to have conversations with. But I think that's if you get into a conversation with somebody that's liberal, don't make it about the argument of pro-choice versus pro-life. Just keep that out of it for now, because you want to build those little bridges where you can. So keep that out of it. Don't fall into that area. I would just say, okay, start it with the question. If Roe versus Wade gets overturned, what happens? Just ask them that question and go from there and talk about how this is freedom of choice. This is you never want to live in a place where you have Supreme Court justices who are not elected by people making big decisions like this. You want people that you elect making decisions that they ran on, that you said, I like that, I like that. Now you gotta always strapped while having a talk with someone. I just spit a little bit. They will ask to phone a friend or ask the audience, or they'll call you a racist. you're you're a you're a racist. What is a woman? Well, now they know what a woman is. Excuse me, people with uteruses. People with uteri. My favorite one, you know how I don't know if you know, but let me educate you because we're all about learning and education on this channel. But they had the pregnant man emoji on Apple to be more inclusive reproductive units. um, they have the pregnant man emoji on Apple, and people are saying now men can be a part of the conversation on abortion because they can now get pregnant. Tell them that's not an argument. You have to argue the content of what you're saying and the idea. You can't just call someone names like a baby. I have a plastic uterus. Does that count? Um, plastic uteruses are uteruses too. Oh, well, so, but Joe Biden, I don't know if you saw it. I had a little video where I was making fun of. I'll probably put it in my shorts later. But Joe Biden, while he was saying that the MAGA party was the most dangerous, he called it the ultra MAGA. So Jack Posobiec, his name now on Twitter is Ultra MAGA Poso. He said, breaking, Amber Heard takes the stand states this trial is the most painful and difficult thing I have ever gone through. Oh, I can't wait to. How does the baby come to the pregnant man and how does he get impregnated in the first place? I don't know if you guys remember this. I think it was, this is my mic that I'm not even using. I think it was no, maybe People magazine a long time ago. Like I was still younger. I always had common sense, by the way, because even I was like, excuse me. So I think it was People magazine, but it said first ever pregnant man. And when I first heard, I was like, oh my gosh, that's like a medical miracle. How did that happen? And then I read it and it was actually a woman who just identified as a man. And I'm like, this is not the first ever pregnant man. This is a woman who identifies as a man. Yeah, Chandler, that's a good point. When you're arguing for Roe versus Wade, I would keep the abortion argument out of it and just get that one win. But if you are in a debate with someone who is pro-choice, yeah, that's a great argument to use, and that's where a lot of pro-choicers get it wrong. They think that if you are pro-life, you are anti-woman. That has nothing to do with it. You are pro-life. You're pro the baby's life. What right does the baby have? That baby never had a choice over its body. That baby didn't even ask to be here in the first place. So that's always a good argument. And that's where they get it so wrong. They think that everyone is just anti women's rights. It has nothing to do with the rights of the woman. It has everything to do with the rights of the baby. Was it Ronald Reagan? I think I read a quote by him today. And he said, it's interesting. Everybody that is pro choice has already been born. Mark said, wait until they invent an artificial womb so men actually can carry a baby. You know, I had a friend named Susie, and she used to say that. She was like, why? She has several children, by the way, but she said, why can't we have pods that just attach to our bodies and then carry the baby in the pod? That was her idea, a microwavable birth. Ronald Reagan was the first president I voted for. I mean, it's an excellent point if you think about it. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's listen to it. The ladies from The View have weighed in on Dave Chappelle. And guess what? It's Trump's fault. I can't wait to hear this.
And then Will Smith.
Here we go. This is a minute long. I apologize. You have to listen to the ladies of The View for a minute. But this is the last thing, and then I'll get off. Isn't the word maternity patriarchy? Yes. Now they're mowing.
Things that could contribute to what's going on, the pandemic, the opioid crisis.
Okay, they're talking about Dave Chappelle being attacked on stage.
Things that could contribute to what's going on, the pandemic, the opioid crisis, the fact that Trump was out there saying things like, just knock the hell out of them. I promise you I'll pay for the legal fees when he had a heckler. I mean, there are many factors involved here. And then Will Smith was like the pièce de résistance, as it were. But by the way, don't you love comedians? Look at how they handled it. It was great. Give that boy.
Okay, I agree with him on that.
Okay, so this is not a political thing. Come on, I know you want to wrap it all on the politics. This is really about security. Like, I don't understand.
Why, it didn't happen before. It happened.
Will Smith wasn't particularly right-leaning and running up on stage and smacking Chris Rock.
No,
yeah, but I think that Trump unleashed some incivility, at least in our
and we
country.
don't know anything about this person that went up there.
No, but wait a second. You don't
We don't.
notice that there's a certain amount of impulse control lacking?
Attained or said that was in particular in regards to people being locked down inside, not in particular being locked down inside and staring at.
Well, Trump really he made the pandemic into like a cold. Remember?
I think
He handled it so poorly.
Oh, I don't know who that is, but I'm thinking that it might be their new, remember for a Republican? That might be her because she's arguing against Trump having anything to do and arguing against this having nothing to do with politics. Bill Maher also jokingly said his security guards should kick some audience members' arses. Hello, Smith. I'm about to get off. Oh, Joy and Whoopi really sound like know-it-alls. The way she went for that was poorly executed. And I don't ever actually remember Trump saying that. They're mowing the lawn now. She just named everything Biden. Well, they also named everything the Democrats did. They basically excused riots that happened all summer in 2020 and called them mostly peaceful. Susan and Nina wants your attention. They're getting mad at me. There's this really funny, let me see if I can pull it up. I hope I can. Ministry of Truth. There's this really funny Twitter account. It's called the US Ministry of Truth, and it's a parody account. It's a parody account, but they have some funny tweets. I'll read a few of them for you. And then I'm going to head off. It says US Ministry of Truth. You could log off right now. You could put the phone down, go to bed, and rest in peace from this dumpster fire, but you won't. You'll stay up at night just like us and experience the cocaine-laced heroin Adderall espresso that is reaction Twitter. I can switch off your electric cars from here. Have a safe drive home. Failure to support the current thing will result in 10 lashes in front of your local courthouse. Please ignore the fatherlessness epidemic. Children do not need them. Birthing Person Day is less than a week away. I noticed you haven't bought anything yet. Support your landscapers. Give them cold drinks. Maybe I will when I'm done. Yes, and so exactly it's clearly the motive of the individual, just given that the individual that attacked Dave Chappelle has been identified and there are pronouns in the bio. So just saying. US Ministry of Truth Twitter account. Your VP doesn't hide information from me, it just organizes it. Do the American thing. Encourage others to dispose of individuals that burden the group. Everyone can do their part. They say the Patriot Act was an investment. Congratulations. We are your dividend. We're now requiring all employers to play safety dance before all OSHA presentations. Someone said, I'm so afraid to like your tweets now. The US Ministry of Truth said, I can track your heartbeat elevating whether you click like or not. Hmm. We will bring peace, freedom, justice, and security to your new empire. What was the reason for the attack? I don't know, but it was interesting. Right before it happened, Dave Chappelle mentioned that because of his trans jokes, that he had to up his security everywhere. And literally, right after that is when the individual ran on stage and attempted to pummel Dave Chappelle. It didn't work. I'm enjoying these lives. Thank you, Smitty. I wanted to find some of their best stuff. Google, here's more ministry of truth. Google lets me read your emails so I don't investigate their staff. Ignore what you learned in biology, forget what you learned in history, embrace what you will gain in our future. We'll let you know the next thing to be afraid of as soon as we can find the right Disney song. It's a parody account. Why would a child need parents when they have qualified teachers? Go to sleep or I'll have the IRS audit your dad. All right. I have to go now. I hope everyone has a really good afternoon. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern if you want to join. I'm sure more crazy things will happen between now and then. All right. Thank you, everyone. All right. Thank you very much. Bye. The Fed raised interest rates half a point. Ooh. Okay. See you later.